Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Kojad, we got, is that Marion? We got Shadow, we got Logan, Prestige, Studio, King Plumtree, Sir Knight, Flying Solo, Wayman. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being here. Definitely do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button here on your way in. I appreciate you guys for being here, and obviously subscribe it up. We are on the road to now 18K. Yup, we hit our 17K goal. What was it earlier this week? Might have been late last week, but nevertheless, we're going to continue to try to build this community as big as we possibly can. So join the family today, and today we're going to be diving into the Arizona Cardinals talk, and obviously now training camp is officially over for the Cardinals, and now we got our mindset to preseason. Now it's preseason football, ladies and gentlemen. So we got the Kansas City Chiefs, which I did hear that the Kansas City Chiefs most likely will be rolling with their starters to start the game. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that looks like. Is it going to be a play or two? Is it going to be a drive for Patrick Mahomes? Which starters will be playing? That's where we're going to have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. But we have seen Andy Reid in this Kansas City Chiefs usually play their starters, which, now that the Arizona Cardinals are starting to do that, honestly, it brings a level of excitement to this preseason game where most people probably won't tune in because let's be real, right? This is going to be the time of the year where people might want to take August off, but nah, man, not me. Of course, I'm gonna be glued onto my TV watching hopefully a drive or two with their starters, and then seeing what Jacoby Brissett can do, and obviously probably see what Clayton Tune's gonna be able to do with the wide receivers, because there's still a lot of open competition amongst this 53-man roster. Whether you want to say the wide receiver number 3 position, or even I probably won't say the cornerbacks like the top 3, but most likely the guys that are probably gonna come in as depth. They're going to fight for some sort of role. You also got the defensive linemen, which we are so really deep, heavily, have so much depth. It's crazy to see. So there's a lot of hard decisions, right? But first things first, we got to get through these 3 weeks, and we got to see what the Arizona Cardinals decide to do when they pull on, put together the 53. But first things first, we have to get through the Chiefs. Then we got the Broncos, and then we finish it off with the Raiders. But today we're going to be diving into Kyler Murray's latest comments. Now, of course, because it was the last day of training camp yesterday, I'm not sure if you guys noticed if you were there, but you had the whole national media out there with Ian Rappaport and the whole NFL Network crew. So, of course, Kyler Murray ends up sitting down with them, as well as our local radio station hosts here in Burns and Gambo with Arizona Sports. But today we're going to really focus on what he said when he was in the interview on the NFL Network, because I kind of want to not so much dissect it, but really kind of talk about, how he feels about the Arizona Cardinals in 2025. Now, of course, this is the time where a lot of people have high praise because there's a lot of excitement. Believe it or not, fans feel it, right? We feel it in the air. Football's back, but these players feel the exact same way. They want to win. Kyler wants to win. Most of these guys that are bought in on this team, that's been on this team for years, they're bought in. This is the next step for the Jonathan Gannon and Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing regime. Year 3, this is usually that step. So I'm really excited to see, kind of dive into it and kind of figure out what Kyler Murray said. We'll talk about it here back and forth. And we're going to talk a little bit about how training camp ended, how you guys feel about it. And let's get started. Actually, whoa, here we go. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting up here with the $5 donation from my guy, Drama. What's up, man?
Another one.
Appreciate the super chat. He says this: I stocked up on Marvin Harrison Jr. cards. If he balls out, I'm cashing out. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Yeah, honestly, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. and to me, it's fantasy football, right? I'm going to go deep into the Marvin Harrison Jr. Stock. I believe in it. I do believe he's also going to go crazy this year. I definitely see over 1K and hopefully 8, 9, 10, maybe double-digit touchdowns. You never know. But the next step is going to be for Marvin Harrison Jr. to take that step, and then just this offense to look better, right? More cohesive, more ready, right? So I'm excited about it, but absolutely appreciate you, Drama, for the $5 donation. Let's get started here. Let's talk about what Kyler Murray had to say yesterday amongst multiple different interviews that he ended up having. But let's first start off here. Ian Rappaport ends up asking him what is different, right? What, or no, sorry. He first ended up asking him, what did we learn about the Arizona Cardinals here in 2025's training camp? And this is what Kyler Murray had to say.
You practice. You guys are at the tail end of training camp. It has been a good one. It has been a productive and intense one. What have you learned about your team these last couple weeks?
I think we've just been stacking really great days. Obviously, this is, for me, it's been one of the most competitive camps that I've been a part of. I think the team is complete as far as, we added depth all across the board. Monty and the guys, JG, wanted to hit the defense really hard in this offseason. I think they went and did that, and it's showing out there during camp. We've gone back and forth, but I think that's what's going to make us great.
So we've mentioned this before as well. Kyler Murray has not had a defense like this one in a very, very, very long time. Now, obviously, the biggest competitive Arizona Cardinal team that we had was probably back in 2021, right? And so I guess some might say 2022, or at least the expectations were there. And they didn't really amount to anything. Kyler Murray gets injured. He misses half the year in 2023, but this is probably the best team that's been constructed on the defensive side of the ball. There's only one unknown, right? And I'm not even going to say it's a weak point, but there's only one unknown on this defensive side of the ball, and it's probably going to be our middle linebacking. I want to say core, but specifically Akeem Davis-Gaither. But if he can give us that physicality and match the same play style that Mac Wilson Sr. brings in, week out, we're going to have a very deadly defense. And honestly, it does help this Arizona Cardinal offense to, the whole, I guess, the whole saying that everybody's saying these days, right? The iron sharpens iron, but it's true, right? Like, you're not going to be able to know how to beat the blitz if you're not getting these reps. You're not getting these practices done, right? You're not going to be able to, pick apart a zone defense if you don't have a really good stingy defense ahead of you, right? So this year's training camp, I do agree. I do believe that when, Monty Ossenfort ended up reconstructing this defense, they came in with the mindset of this offseason saying, we got to fix this defense, right? Like, they felt like that was the biggest, weakest point in 2024, now going to 2025. So they believe in the Cardinals offense. They really do, right? And it's very telling because they really haven't made any big new addition on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball is where they really focused on to kind of bring in those additions, bring in those upgrades. And obviously right now we're going to have to kind of wait and see how this all shakes out. But, just like Kyler Murray ended up saying, he's learned that this has probably been the most physical and, you know, training camp that he's had since he's been a quarterback, and that's cool to hear, man. It's cool to hear. I'm excited to see what he's going to do here in 2025. Is there still a little bit of you know I guess unknown, or I guess a little bit of cautiousness? Of course, right? Well, we all know the stigma of the crashing and burning at the end of the season, but right now I'm going in with a fresh eyes and I'm trying to say, okay, Kyler, let's prove it again and let's see if you can take us to the promised land. But first things first, we've got to get into the playoffs, right? Now, another question was asked over to Kyler Murray about what's truly different, right? You can come out here and say multiple times, this is different, this year's different, this year's different, but they ended up asking what truly is different this year compared to most other years, and this is what Kyler Murray had to say.
So this year, it's so amazing how long you've been in the league, and you're only almost 28 years
know.
old. What feels different? You say it's more competitive, it's more like what is different exactly?
Oh, every year is different. Every year is different. I would say this, though, for me, just being around the guys, I think this is, again, I go back to saying that this is probably the most complete team I've been on as far as depth goes, as far as O-line, D-line, guys that have been here building a foundation, and those guys growing within the system. For me, that's probably been the most, different thing that I've witnessed.
So I could agree with the assessment that this defensive line has the best amount of depth that we actually ever had in recent years for the Cardinals. This defensive line is real, right? And if you don't want to believe it, let's obviously wait till if they do get a fair crack and a chance here in preseason game one. But we got to also talk about the idea that the Arizona Cardinals are just overall stacked when it comes down to the defensive side of the ball, right? Now, the offensive side of the ball, I do think that we got some dogs there, right? I believe in the original front five that we have. Depth, Kelvin Beachum, really solid right tackle that can definitely swing into the moment if needed. But the other guys, right? Like after for a whole, I'm kind of a little worried. I do like Christian Jones, but after those guys, there seems to be a lack of depth. Now, there was word out there from John Gambadoro of Arizona Sports that Will Hernandez and the Arizona Cardinals seem to have some sort of mutual connection amongst each other. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to truly be, signed, right? We don't know if that's going to happen, but as of right now, I do believe that the Arizona Cardinals defensive line has a lot more depth than the offensive line for sure. But as long as they can stay healthy, and I'm talking about the offensive line, I think this is going to be a real good offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals, no doubt, no doubt. We got my guy in the chat here says compete. Yeah, absolutely. This has been a very competitive year or I guess training camp for the Arizona Cardinals. That's definitely no doubt there as well. This has been a very, very competitive training camp for the Arizona Cardinals. I've been to all but probably two of them. I guess three because there was one exclusive for like season tickets, but I'm talking about the ones that were open to the public. I only missed two training camps this year. I only missed two. And unfortunately, the very first one that I missed was when they first put their pads on. So that was unfortunate that I ended up missing that. But overall, like, this has been a very competitive state of the Arizona Cardinals. Like, this has been a very, very good training camp where they're getting ready for football. They're getting ready to be competitive. They're getting ready to be hopefully a playoff team. And I'm looking around the NFC West, and I talk about this all the time, but the NFC West this year doesn't scare me. And I'm not sure if it's because like it's the beginning of the season and I'm puffing out my chest and I think that this Arizona Cardinal team can go far, but I don't think this NFC West scares me as much as it used to, right? Now, of course, the Seattle Seahawks were probably our hardest competition last year. They ended up sweeping us, and we couldn't do anything on the offensive side of the ball last year, like against the Seahawks. Like, we really couldn't do anything. Like, if we can be real, we should have swept the Rams, and we swept the 49ers. So for the most part, on a team that didn't have a lot of expectations, 8 wins, we finished off 8-9. Of course, we could have had a much better record if the season collapse didn't happen again. But I don't have a lot of fear within this NFC West. But you never know, right? As long as we can stay healthy, I'm excited to see what this Arizona Cardinal offense can do. Zay Jones has looked better than I would imagined it, and I do believe that Zay Jones is probably going to have the leg up over Greg Dortch, if I'm going to be real. At one point, it was probably going to be Greg Dortch at number 3, but right now, if Michael Wilson's there at number 2, it's probably going to be Zay Jones, or maybe a mix between him and Greg Dortch. So excited about that as well. One last question that Ian Rappaport ended up asking Kyler Murray is he ended up asking about obviously the next step and what we tried to accomplish last year. We came up short, and Kyler Murray says, we're ready. We're ready. Let me give you to exactly what he said. But this is exactly what Kyler Murray ended up saying.
You guys had 8 wins last year. Obviously, no playoffs, but close, and really feels like, and we've talked about this some today, really feels like you guys are at a point roster-wise where I know Monty wanted to get to, and I know you wanted to get to. What did you take from last season, and how ready do you think this team is to get to the playoffs?
I mean, I know we're ready. I I feel like last year, like you said, we were close, really close. Had some, unfortunate breaks. Didn't make some couple plays that we felt like we should have made, and ended up watching the playoffs on TV. And that's not where we want to be, and that's not where I want to be. So, again, I think we hit the team hard this offseason. Continue to grind, continue to work, continue to stack days this camp, and I think it's on us to go out and execute when the season comes here.
So yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to where credit is due. There definitely seems to be an acknowledgement of what this Arizona Cardinal team lacked of, right? And they came out short. At the end of the day, they came up short. Last year at the end of the season, there was plenty of opportunities where we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Kyler Murray said there was a few plays that he could have potentially made that wasn't there, but if it did make it, it probably could have changed the trajectory of the Arizona Cardinals in 2024, right? So the Panthers game was brutal. The being swept by the Seattle Seahawks was brutal. There was a lot of clutch games that we should have won that could have got us in a better position, but of course, hopefully these are all learning experience moving forward, and we can kind of come now to the agreement that let's see, right? Let's see what the Arizona Cardinals do in 2025. But it definitely seems like they've learned, right? They learned from their mistakes, and what we've seen in training camp so far, it's enough to give you a little bit of a okay, we're ready to go, right? We're ready to go. Now, I want to be clear. What am I more excited about heading into this season, right? In terms of the position groups, I'm more excited about this defense, if I'm going to be real. And that's a completely 180 from last year. last year we came into 2024, said that the offense needs to be the bright spot, right? The offense was that group that I was really excited to see. Now, I'm still excited to see a year or two of Marvin Harrison Jr. Absolutely. I'm excited to see what this year of Trey McBride's going to be. I'm excited to see what, Trey Benson and, James Conner, two-headed duo is going to do for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm excited about all that, right? But I can't ignore the fact that the Arizona Cardinals defense looks to be a real threat in the NFL. And we're not just lip service here. This is a real thing. That there's a real possibility that this team could potentially be a top 10 defense, like a top 10 defense. Now, I know there's some people out there saying, oh, top 5. Let's pump the brakes right there. But the Cardinals did go from one of the worst defenses in 2023 when we were rebuilding to potentially maybe a mediocre defense. I heard some people kind of ranking us like 15, 16, somewhere around there. But now with these new additions that the Cardinals have made, you could definitely put us somewhere in the top 10 for sure, right? Or maybe even outside the top 10. Now, of course, on paper, it looks great. You got to put it out on the field, right? But I'm really excited about this defense. Like, I'm really excited about this Arizona Cardinal defense. The Calais Campbell, and Dalvin Tomlinson, the next year of Darius Robinson, if he can stay healthy. Hopefully, B. Joe Jolari can come back, but Josh Sweat, right? Mac Wilson Sr. going into his year 2 of the Cardinals. There's just a lot of excitement. The young cornerbacks that we have, our veteran safeties back there with Buddha, Jalen Thompson. Like, I'm really, really excited about this Arizona Cardinal defense more than the offense, but I am still excited about the offense. Like, I am. I'm not going to come away and take away from the offense, but the defense is really what I'm going to lean on a lot to win his games. Like, I'm going to win his games. There's been multiple games last year that we were getting punked on the defensive side of the ball, but we really didn't have the talent, right? We really didn't have the talent to match up with your Commanders, which now we know that's a legit team. Last year, we didn't think they were going to be a legit team. We thought that was going to be an easy win for the Cardinals. No way, Jose, right? But then you got the Seattle Seahawks, which never seem to die. They always kind of seem to be, in contention to be maybe a fringe playoff team. Even if they got a new head coach or if they're rebuilding, they're always kind of up there, which is unfortunate. But let's see what happens with the Rams this year, right? There's been some concern about Matthew Stafford, but I ended up hearing from Ian Rappaport that there is no doubt in his mind, or it might have been Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter, that they said that he's probably going to be most likely ready for week 1. But, having disc issues, right? Stuff that's happening with your back, it seems like a big deal. It really does. But we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. Seattle Seahawks now bring in Sam Darnold. Not really worried about that, but I also did say I'm not worried about Geno Smith, and he's kind of owned us since he's been a Seattle Seahawk. Now moved on to the Raiders. And then you got the San Francisco 49ers, which lost so much talent. Kyler Murray believes that I know we are ready. That definitely goes ahead and gives you a level of excitement for our Arizona Cardinal team heading into the 2025 season, right? We got my guy JK. What's up, JK? Damn it, Mike, you're firing me up. You should be fired up, man. You should be fired up. You should, man. You should absolutely be fired up. This team is legit. Like, defensively, it's very, very legit. Offensively, I do believe that they can actually score points, right? Like, sometimes I get it a little twisted because I do still believe that there should be another wide receiver added. But if Zay Jones can give us that production at that number 3 wide receiver position, we don't need to go anywhere else, right? Like, Keenan Allen was a guy that I was kind of jumping on my soapbox saying, like, oh, we got to get him. But at the end of the day, we don't, like, Keenan Allen was just signed back with the Chargers. Amari Cooper is still available, but Keenan Allen was the guy that I was really kind of eyeballing for the Arizona Cardinals. But they truly believe in Zay. Zay has actually looked pretty solid within these last couple days, especially when Michael Wilson ended up going down and was in concussion protocol. Zay Jones has kind of really showed out and has done really well in training camp in these last few days. So, they believe in him. All I can do right now is follow suit, sit back in line, and kind of wait and see what he does with the Cardinals. But right now, the way that it looks is Marvin Harrison Jr. as your number 1, Michael Wilson, if healthy, your number 2, and then Zay Jones being your number 3, mainly probably going to be used in the slot. And of course, you got your big threat right up the middle of the field with Trey McBride, and you got your two-headed monster with James as well as Trey. So, excited, man. You should be excited. This is going to be a really good year for the Cardinals, or at least expectation is there for the Arizona Cardinals. And it's been a very long time. Since we've been doing this channel or this podcast, there's only really been like 2 years of expectation. And we're going into year 7 of kind of covering this Arizona Cardinal team. Like, we're only like there's only been 2 years of expectation, right? Last year, there really wasn't much. People just wanted to see that next step. 2023, that was a complete build it down, and it was rebuild mode. Our first year of Kyler, we knew what happened there. Second year was it 8 wins and then 11 wins, and then we kind of crashed and burned in the year after, year 4 of Cliff. So, yeah, I mean, you absolutely should be excited. You should. Let's keep it going with the chat. Chosen One says all the offense needs to do is pass to Trey McBride, right? Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams don't have a Trey McBride. Like, let's be real. A lot of teams do not have a Trey McBride. So we got to take that from what it's worth. It's going to be a very, very good offense because of you really have like 2 or 3 solid pass catchers, right? Michael Wilson doesn't get a lot of love, and I get it from the national perspective, but Arizona Cardinal fans, he's a good player, man. When given the opportunity, he's a good player. So you got really 3 good, dependable pass catchers, right? And I'm talking about your receivers / tight ends. James Conner couldn't catch a ball here or two. Trey Benson probably can do the same thing as well. But you got 3 solid pass catchers back there. So that should be enough for you to win a lot of games, especially if your defense can hold up, right? Especially if your defense can hold up. Jakaya in the chat says 3-3 in the division. You satisfied in 2025 if repeat? Like if we go 3-3 in the division, you're saying? I mean, here's the thing, right? The division is so tough because although I'm sitting back and saying things like, oh, I don't believe that this division is as good as people like want to believe. Although I do believe it's going to be good, right? I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, the Seahawks are going to be like a 2-win team or the 49ers are going to be a 2. No, that's not the case. Like I do believe that this team is or this division is probably going to be one of the best, like truly. But like stacked up against the Cardinals, I guess is the way I probably should have described it. Like if they finish 3-3, but they take care of a lot of the other games that they should take care of, especially in the first half of the schedule. 3-3 is not going to be that big of a deal. Now, of course, I would rather sweep every single division rival we have, but realistically, those are the toughest games because they know you so well, right? They know you, they see you like 6 times a year. I'm talking about the whole division, right? Like you have 6 games with these division guys. So there's a lot of homework that gets, being assessed on your specific team on what you do well, what can they do to take away that thing you do very well. So if they go 3-3, I mean, it just depends on how they end off in the season, right? Like if the Cardinals only finish off with like 6-7 wins and they're 3-3, of course we're going to make a bigger deal, right? But if they're like 10-7, if they're 11-6, then they go 3-3, it's not that big of a deal. Does that make sense? Like of course these division games are important, but it just really kind of depends on what the schedule or how we end off at the end of the year. I hope that makes sense. Like, of course, I don't want to go 3-3. Of course I don't. But it just depends. Like, I'm really looking at the bigger picture here more than anything. I'm looking at the bigger picture on what the Arizona Cardinals can potentially accomplish this year for the Arizona Cardinals. And, Kyler Murray says, I know we're ready. Okay, let's go. Let's go. And on top of that, we're going to see the Cardinals starters in 2 days. Like, we're going to see these boys in 2 days. Like, that should alone give you a level of excitement, right? That alone should give you a level of let's freaking go because we're going to get a glimpse. It's not going to be what this offense looks like. It's probably going to be very, very vanilla. But if indeed the Chiefs play their starters, we get a chance for Kyler Murray to have different looks, right? Different looks and seeing what they potentially can do. So there's that. There's also Jacoby Brissett going to be having a good majority of the game. And then, of course, you're probably going to have Clayton Tune finishing off the game. But overall, man, I think this is going to be a very, very exciting time. Super, super excited about it. Sarah in the chat, can AZ have 2 teams? I don't think we're a big enough market. To be honest with you, this fan base is one of the smallest fan bases out there. I don't even know how a fan base would be able, or like the metropolitan area of Phoenix would be able to stay in 2 teams. Like there's barely enough fans to kind of fill up the stadium here, right? No, I mean, that's not necessarily the truth, but like they're one of the smallest fan bases. They don't have a big, now the fan base has gotten better within the last few years, but like, it's not like we're living in New York, right? Where New York can justify having 2 or 3 teams in New York, right? California, where they can justify having 2 teams or 2 teams now because the Raiders are now in Vegas. So no, I don't think Arizona's ever going to be in a point like that. They're a one team league type of, city. And I feel like it's going to keep going like that. Unless the Cardinals go on a crazy run for the next 5 or 6 years, then of course more people that live here will be joining on that. I don't want to say bandwagon, but you know what I'm trying to say, kind of. Yeah. Why the hell they bought I got nothing to say about this. I don't understand it either. It was weird because I did hear that, like, they said as long as they supply it themselves and not coming from the team, it's okay. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it, right? It is what it is. I don't really have too much of opinion on this. It's weird because you do see some people kind of get real jacked up. I remember seeing Baker Mayfield in a few different clips, kind of whiffing those, and he got like, oh man, look, he was about to Hulk out. So I don't know. Not my decision, right? Not my decision. We got Sarah in the chat. Happy birthday to JK. Oh, JK Gamer. Your birthday. Okay. My birthday's on the 17th. My wish is the Cardinals are going to the Super Bowl. Okay, it's a lot to ask, but damn, I'm not. There you go. Love to see it. Well, happy birthday. I know it's on the 17th, so you got 10 days away. So happy early birthday if I don't get to you. Absolutely. If you don't know, it's Kyler Murray's birthday as well. I'm not sure if you guys wished him a happy birthday, but yes, it's Kyler Murray's birthday as well. He is 28 years old now. And it's crazy too because during this interview with the insiders, right, the NFL Network insiders, they ended up saying, oh, I can't believe you've been in this league for going into year 7. And you're only 28. Like, if you really think about it, like, that is pretty crazy to think about. Like, he's only 28 years old and he's going into his year 7. Like, how young he was drafted to the NFL to kind of put a team on his back to get us a Lombardi, right? It's nuts to think about it because I can't even imagine being the face of anything at 21, 22 years old. That's just so freaking young. It's crazy. But, some people learn kind of getting thrown into the fire. So, yeah, nuts. But, yeah, it's Kyler Murray's birthday as well. Let's see here. Wayman in the chat. Y'all remember Fitzgerald's interview when he gave it to the reporter? Yes, I do. Absolutely do. I predict the Cardinals are going to hunt down non-mobile quarterbacks. Well, I mean, if you even look at the division, we got a lot of non-mobile quarterbacks in our division. I don't consider Purdy a mobile quarterback, although he does have some wheels on him. I consider him as a non-mobile. Of course, Matthew Stafford is a non-mobile quarterback. And then you got Sam Darnold, non-mobile quarterback all around. So I love to hear it. I think our defensive line is going to absolutely cook this year. It's going to be very, very exciting and fascinating to see what this Arizona Cardinal team can potentially accomplish. Shadow in the chat says, I feel Zay Jones is going to catch everybody off guard. I see 800 yards in his future this year. If you get 800 yards from Zay Jones, y'all, like if we get 800 yards from Zay Jones this year, that would be an extreme success. That would be an extreme success. Of course, we know Trey McBride hit over 1K. We had Marvin with, 850 something, if I can remember correctly. After Marvin and Trey McBride, the next guy who had the most amount of yards was probably Michael Wilson, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was somewhere in the 500s. So if we get an 800-yard receiver outside Marv, hey, man, I'll take that. I'll take that in a heartbeat. Frankie in the chat, how are you feeling about Michael Wilson as our 2 wide receiver? I like Michael Wilson. I really do. I think Michael Wilson, when given the opportunity, can be very, very good. The problem that we're seeing is that this offense is not one of those offenses that like how do I describe this? This offense for the Arizona Cardinals is not very pass heavy, right? It's not very pass heavy at all. So what does that mean? Guys like Michael Wilson sometimes can kind of get forgotten about, right? I think he's a very good wide receiver, though. I really do. I know some people are maybe considering him more as a number 3 guy more than anything. I think if he's given an opportunity, he can show that he's a solid number 2. We've seen some really crazy catches this last year. And even when he was playing with Dobbs, wasn't there like a 2-touchdown game with Dobbs versus the 49ers? He can be very good. He can be very, very good. I'm just, at this very moment, we're going to have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out because this Cardinals organization really believes in what we have in this wide receiving core. Let's let him roll. Let's let him roll is all I can say. If Zay Jones has a breakout, I think everybody will be excited about that. Let's keep reading a couple more chats, and then we're going to take a real quick break from our new sponsors. Yeah, that's right. New sponsors for the AZ Sports Fan here in 2025. We got another sponsors coming our way as well in the start of the regular season, which we're going to be up and rolling by September. But as of right now, we do got a sponsor here in August. So obviously appreciate it. We're going to take a break here pretty soon by listening in on what's going on. But let's read a couple more comments, and then we will be doing that. We got Uncanny in the chat. Appreciate you guys for the chats, by the way. You guys are killing it. Keep asking questions. Zay is breaking out. Remember last year, could not start first month. He also had to get familiar with Kyler. Yeah, Zay Jones was unfortunately suspended for 5 games last year at the start of the season. He came back, and he wasn't a focal point, right? Now that he's got a training camp under his belt, let's see. Let's see what ends up happening here with Zay Jones. I'm excited. All right, real quick break from our sponsors. I will be back in 30 seconds.
Yo, Red Sea, you know how we rep the Cards with pride every Sunday, so why not rep your own squad the same way? Whether it's your business, your team, or your crew, My Valley Prints has you covered with custom screen prints and embroidery right here in the desert. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, you name it. From clean logos to bold game day drip, they'll make your vision look like a first-round pick. Local, reliable, and always bringing that Cardinal level energy. Hit up myvalleyprints@yahoo.com or DM them via Instagram to get your gear started. My Valley Prints, built for the Valley, designed for you.
Shout out here to My Valley Prints, proud sponsor of the AZ Sports Fan here in August. We're going to be doing a strong push to try to do our best to support local this year. If you do got a local company you want to support or sponsor or know of anybody that has some sort of local company, definitely go and hit me up on my Instagram. We are taking in sponsorships. So hit me up on my Twitter/X or even on my Instagram. We'll do our best to go ahead and fit them in. But we got a lot of interest within the past couple days. And I know we're taking on another sponsor here in September and the start of the season. So really, really excited about that. Another shout out here to my guy, My Valley Prince. If you're looking for, any hats, shirts, anything custom, check them out. All right, let's keep reading the questions here in the chat below. And then for the new people that are joining in here, thank you so very much for being here. Smack up the like button here on your way in. Let's keep it going. We got RC3. What's up, buddy? Either we need a new offensive playbook or we need a new person to take over for Petsing. This offseason, we will have more players and personnel that wants to be a part of this organization. When it comes down to Petsing, right? Like I said, I might be the least person to I don't get on Petsing as much as most people do. If I'm going to be real. I do think that Petsing has some sort of play as to why the offense struggled last year. But I mean, if the Arizona Cardinals do fantastic and we're one of the best offenses out there, we might see Petsing, go for some sort of interviews. You never know. Petsy might go on some interviews because he already had an interview with Chicago. Now, whether that was one of those things that they were going to truly consider or they had Ben Johnson in their mind the whole time, we don't know, right? But Drew Petzing was already in the carousel of potential head coaches going into 2025, now 2026. If the Cardinals truly take that next jump, right, and we're a top offense, he potentially could be a guy that gets plucked away from the Cardinals. So you never know. Just depends on what happens. If the Cardinals don't do well, then he could potentially get let go, right? So it's going to be a very crucial season. That's for sure. Very crucial season for the Arizona Cardinals, no doubt. What do you think the record's going to be for the Arizona Cardinals? I keep going back and forth. All I'm saying right now is that I want to see double digits, right? I want to see double digits with this Arizona Cardinal team. And I know it can be accomplished. I know there's a way that if you look at the schedule, there is a way for double digits that can be accomplished for the Arizona Cardinals in 2025. It's just you got to take care. The most important things, you got to take care of the games that you need to win in the beginning of the season. If you take care of those games, I understand it's going to be a juggernaut at the end of the year. But it's November, December football, right? If you're a playoff team, you got to find a way to beat those teams as well. So it's tough. All I'm going to say right now is I hope that we're a double-digit team. That's it. Poppy in the chat, what's up? Bro, Drew be drawing up some amazing run plays. People complain too much. I hope his play call. I like his play calling. It just comes down to receivers catching the ball. Well, here's the thing, right? Like, and we might be on the same page with this, right? A lot of people don't like Drew Petzing because the way that our offense looked in the passing game last year. And here's the thing, we've already did that, right? The way I feel is we already did what we're trying to do again. We're blaming coaches, right? At some point, we do got to hold players accountable. Although I do have some sort of fault at Petzing because we didn't see specific designated plays for our best player to get the ball. That's very on him because you're the one calling the plays, right? So that I do believe is, but he had one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. One of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. And yes, it didn't follow suit with the passing game, but I'm hoping in this year 3, it can follow suit and we can become more of a balanced offense, right? But, I'm not as hard on Petzing as most people are. So just FYI. But yeah, I agree with you, Poppy. I agree with you. Drama on the chat. What's up, man? Did you see that video of Michael Wilson shaking the corner? Michael Wilson, this last training camp, he had himself on the yellow jersey, right? The yellow shirt, indicating obviously he's maybe in a limited fashion. But the hit that he ended up taking with Buda Baker, that collision was brutal, man. I was there, and you could hear a pin drop. Like everybody was like, "Oh, good lord, come on, come on!" Now he got up on his own power. He was put on concussion protocol. We finally saw him yesterday with the yellow shirt on. So he was limited, right? Obviously, he was limited. But I'm excited about Michael Wilson. I really do. I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver for the Cardinals. There was a really good play. I did not get a chance to catch it, but I believe Darren Urban did. Darren Urban, I believe the writer for the Arizona Cardinals website, and obviously covers the Arizona Cardinals as well. But there was a fantastic play. And it was on a one-on-one, so it's not like it was on 11 on 11. But it was Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Garrett Williams. My goodness, y'all need to see this. Y'all need to see it. This right here, man. This play right here was amazing. 1 second. Let me go ahead and bring this on here. Where are we at? All right, let me share my screen real fast. Here we go. Okay, perfect. This is the play right here. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Garrett Williams. I wasn't able to catch it on my own camera, but look at this, man. Look at that catch. And it's corner end zone. Not the back corner, but the front corner end zone. Shout out to Darren Urban for catching this. That's our best cornerback getting cooked up by Marvin Harrison Jr. He sneaks in. That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. You don't catch the referee because it ends, like the clip ends, but he was about to do this. Check it out. Look at that. Whoop. That concentration. That's hard, man. That's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to take that next step this year. I'm really, really excited about it. Really, really excited about it. So shout out here to Darren Urban for obviously catching that clip. Magnificent. One of the best plays yesterday. We saw some really good plays from Marvin as well. There was a play that he ended up catching the ball up the middle. Trey McBride doing the same thing as well. There was one specific play that a lot of people engaged with on my X/Twitter page. I want to get a thought of what you guys are saying. Let me know here in the chat because there's a lot of people that did not like this throw from Kyler Murray. I want to hear what you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. All right, I'm going to show you a play here from my X/Twitter page. When I originally posted it, I was just like, there was multiple throws that were bombed from Kyler. Like the obvious thing was in the end of this training camp, they wanted to throw the ball deep. It was obvious. Kyler Murray at least threw 2 or 3 more bombs before this play that I'm going to show you right here. And it's Kyler Murray throwing the ball over to Marvin Harrison Jr., but it was double coverage. Let me know what your guys' overall thoughts on this play is. Now, it's going to restart here. I captioned it. Kyler's letting it fly today, but the defense is being stingy. So many people responded to this, and there's not a lot of positivity. Let me know what your guys' overall thoughts. Kyler chucks it, throws it up in the air. There's a double right there. A lot of people in the chat were saying that should have been thrown further. That should have been thrown in stride. Some people said that Marvin needed to, did a contested catch with that. I'm curious to figure out what your guys' overall thoughts on this specific play. I didn't think too much about it when I recorded it and when I posted it. My mind was just saying, oh, Kyler was just letting it fly today, right? But the defense was being stingy because 2 or 3 plays before this, it was bombs, bombs, bombs. None of them really connected, but I'm curious to figure out what your guys' overall thoughts here on this play because, like I said, some people, man, some people were getting crazy in these comments, man. Either pro Kyler or pro Marvin. What are your overall thoughts? Heard Trey cooked. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not even. Yeah, Trey's always cooking the defense. That's not even. Yeah. That's not even a thing. Trey's always cooking the defense. He's always open. He's always going over everybody. And these 1v1s. I said this on my last video. Y'all need to stop putting Budda Baker versus Trey McBride. And this Cardinals coaching staff need to stop doing that, man, because it's a mismatch, man. Trey McBride is a beast, and he's always cooking the defense every single time. Up here says it's practice. Okay. Let's keep it. Valley Vibe says I'm only worried about what the coaches say in training camp. Okay. You can have the best plays, but if your QB and wide receiver aren't on the same page, it doesn't matter. Okay. Let's see here. Drew had great play calls. Everybody keeps forgetting Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. had a chemistry throughout the season. Yes, that's the truth. Wayman in the chat says if the ball was further, the defenders could still catch up. It looks bad because it was a bit underthrown. However, Marvin's got to come back. Okay, so I at the end of the day, just like my guy in the chat says, it's practice. This is what you wanted to see, right? Like I said before, like even in the beginning of training camp, because in day 2 or day 3, I'm like, where are these bombs? Like everything is just so short, right? But of course, the Arizona Cardinals have a plan, right? They probably very much every single day have a specific plan designed on what they're going to do, right? That's probably how they roll this training camp because I kid you not, everything I kind of talked about the day before, they did it the day after. So today, yesterday in the training camp, it almost was obvious that they were trying to get that big deep ball connection to work, right? But it's practice, right? I personally didn't care if Kyler Murray threw 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions in practice. It's practice. This is when you needed to get your legs under you, or I guess not legs under you, but like make your mistakes now, right? That's practice is when you need to make your mistakes now, right? Now, of course, if it's 2 or 3 interceptions every single day, then we got a problem, right? Then we're talking about like Caleb Williams, which obviously right now everybody in Chicago and the national media, they're going crazy when it comes down to Caleb Williams. It's crazy. But anyways, continue to talk about the Cardinals. If it happened every day, then we have a problem. But I don't care if Kyler Murray throws an interception or 2. I don't care. Like every 1 or 2 games, I don't care, right? Because that's when you need to be able to get your chemistry down. Although I would have loved that to connect, right? I would have loved that to connect. There was a really good throw from Kyler Murray to Zay Jones. Now they ended up calling it no good, but that was a really good catch and throw by Zay. So Zay Jones is getting involved. We're actually seeing Greg Dortch here and there. It's a lot more Zay Jones than Dortch. I'm going to be real, but man, yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Let's read a couple more comments here in the chat. Shadow in the chat says, Kyler Murray going to air it out with that ball. You're going to be throwing. I won't trust Kyler until we hit the 9-win mark with 2 or 3 games left in the season. Needs to prove he can win the second half of the season. Now, the fascinating thing is that we ended up seeing Burns and Gambo, which is our local radio station here. They ended up catching up with Kyler Murray as well, and they ended up asking, right? They ended up asking 3 specific things when it comes down to Kyler Murray. And they asked him about obviously the late season collapses. They ended up asking about, kind of elevating everybody and accuracy. Kyler Murray says that he feels like he never ever struggled with accuracy in his career. I guess I'll let you have your own opinion on that. Actually, let's do this. Let's listen in on that, right? Because I think John Gambadora ended up reposting it. So let's listen in. It's like a 2-minute clip. And it's all has to do with, it's a 3-minute clip. I'm sorry. It's a 3-minute clip, but it has to all do with kind of what Kyler Murray ended up saying yesterday because he ended up speaking to the media everywhere. He spoke to the media everywhere. So credit goes on over to Burns and Gamble and Arizona Sports. All the credit goes over to them for this really good interview. But I want to go ahead and listen in to what he had to say, and let's talk about it. All right, here we go.
All right, so I'm going to hit you with this because a lot of people think, okay, Kyler's got to make this jump. He's got to make this jump. It's a talk about can Kyler make that jump to the next level. Yeah. 3 things we look at, and I want you to comment on them: the deep ball accuracy and the explosive plays, elevating the players around you, getting everybody else better, and then finishing strong after Thanksgiving, November, December. Give me your thoughts on those 3 things.
First one, accuracy. I don't think accuracy's never been an issue in my game. And that's just me talking to y'all. Obviously, I think we weren't explosive. Like, we weren't as explosive as we wanted to be last year, or the fans want us to be, as far as going downfield. You know what I mean? But as far as making explosive plays, there was explosive plays all over. We ran the hell out of the ball. And if you look at the first half of my career, I don't think we had issues as far as explosives downfield, right? I think that's just within the scheme and within those things. That's where. Okay, do we want to punch the ball down the field? Do we want to push it down the field, or what do we want to do?
So if it's there, you'll take it. If it's not, you'll be boring. Like you said, you'll be boring.
It's it may not be what the fans want to see sometimes, but as long as the ball gets to the end zone and we put 7 or 3 on the board, I may be frustrated at times personally, just like y'all want to see the ball get. We all get frustrated, but hell. What's best for the team? What's best for winning? You know what I mean? That's. But as far as accuracy goes, I've never not been accurate. I like that's egregious.
Elevating.
Real quick, I'm gonna stop it right here. What he was saying about explosive plays, I never once, and I can't speak for everybody, right? I can't speak for everybody. I never once said throw the ball in the air. Like, give me explosive plays because I want to see it. No, I don't. I mean, of course, as long as you have like a explosive player here or two, like during the game, because you need those explosive plays. But to me, it was more about creating those first downs, creating more plays for your offense to kind of get onto the field. So, it's crazy because it is like these players listen, every time we hear that these players or this organization, they don't know about what happens with this outside noise, right? Like, you obviously you can tell that they do hear it, right? They do hear it. To me, I can only speak for myself. I don't really care to have an explosive play just to have an explosive play, right? To me, it's more important to throw in those explosive plays, of course, but you gotta chip away, right? You gotta create more plays with your offense. So now that this seems to be the thought process of Kyler Murray, because I never heard Kyler Murray and this organization preach that we need to play for the next down as much as we did this year. I'm happy. I'm excited about it, to be honest with you. I'm really excited that now that is the mindset of the Arizona Cardinals heading into 2025. Like, truly. Like, chip away, man. Chip away, right? Keep going. And then if you want to see if you have a bomb, then chuck it. But don't throw the ball up in the air. If you have a first down right here on a quick drag route, right? If you have a quick drag route and you can get 7-8 yards and then play on a second and short, that's what's more important to me than wasting it down, right? I personally never complained about it just to complain about it. But honestly, I'm actually really excited that they're finally taking this approach. I'm happy. It's not boring. It's called football, right? It's not boring to me. As long as they score, I can care 2 SHITs how they do it personally. Let's keep it going, though.
Everybody around you to be better.
That's 2, right?
That was 2. That was 2.
Elevating, right? I would say this. Yes, that's my job, right? That's my job as a leader, is to make everybody around me better. And that looks different in many ways. In each year, that's my goal, is to win. I think early on in my career, if you got guys in here that don't want to win or that don't see it the way, I may rub guys the wrong way. I may rub guys the wrong way, or it may seem some type of way. But I think the people we have in this building now, the guys that we have in this locker room, we're all on the same page, and they all understand how much I love the game, how much I want to win. And I think, that's not in question within the locker room.
Finish.
Okay. Love it. As long as you have a bought-in team, this can get very, very dangerous. Like a teams that care about each other and they know that what the mission is, that's a very dangerous team. Like, that's a very dangerous team. So Kyler Murray saying everybody's bought in. They know how much he wants to win. All right, let's go. Last one right here is about finishing strong.
Finishing strong November, December.
Yeah, we just got to be better. We got to be better. As simple as that. This isn't, you look back at last year as far as finishing strong. We run 4 in a row right before the bye, and then we lost 3 in a row. I think my worst 2 games were against Seattle. Minnesota, I felt like played well. We should have won the game.
Yep.
And then
that Carolina game, right?
Carolina wasn't a very great game. Still felt like we should have won the game. We took it, drive down, kick a field goal, take it to overtime, lose in overtime. I think in totality, this is a team game. Everybody's got to be better, including myself. But everyone has to be better. You go up, you beat the 49ers, and you should have beat the Rams. Had a kind of freak play right there at the end. So as far as finishing, yeah. I mean, we all have to be better.
All right, so I'm going to.
Okay. I mean, he didn't say anything that's like shocking, right? I'm honestly happy that these questions were asked because they're very valid, fair questions, right? They really are, because that is the stigma that's going to be surrounding the Arizona Cardinals until we stop crashing and burning at the second half of the season. I think Kyler Murray's got the best mindset he has going into this year in 2025, and it's up to kind of put up or shut up time. Like, let's be real. He says, I know we're ready. Let's go. Love to see it. All right, let's go. Love to see it. Let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. I'm really, really excited about this year. So let's take a couple more chats here. Brandon in the chat says, just because he can be accurate doesn't mean he makes the best decisions. Fair. Eddie in the chat says, did you guys know Sam Darnold had more passing yards than Kyler and double the passing touchdowns this last year? Yikes. Yeah, but Sam, let's see Sam Darnold do it again, right? Let's see Sam Darnold do it again. Like, that's the most important thing to me. I know Sam Darnold had a crazy year last year, but is that the Kevin O'Connell effect, or is that Sam Darnold actually turning a corner, right? We're going to find out. Let's keep reading the chat. Valley Vibes. Tom Brady only threw bombs when he had Randy Moss. Okay. Let's keep it going here. Yo, Mike, I am tuned in for the season. Let's have a good season. Absolutely, X. Absolutely. He's talking it. He needs to show it. Well, that's the next step, right? That's the next step. It's all about showing what the Arizona Cardinals can do in year 3 of Drew Petzing. Honestly, he's saying all the right things. He's saying all the right things. And like I said, I'm going into the season with my mindset going and saying, okay, I'm bought in, right? I'm bought in because this defense that was god-awful. Okay, not god-awful. Okay, that makes it sound really bad. Let me rephrase that back. I'm going into the season with a defense that didn't have as much talent as they do now, won 8 games, right? Or at least this team won 8 games with the defense that we had last year, right? Now, of course, the offense won us some games last year as well, but now we got arguably a top 10, maybe top 12, somewhere within the top 10 range. And I'm going on this side of the top 10, not within, but a little outside the top 10 in terms of this defense can potentially be, because on paper, they're a really, really good stacked team. If we only won 8 games, imagine what we can do with this defense. Like, if you're going to come out here and tell me that this defense can't win you at least 2 more games, like, that's crazy to me. Now, of course, 8 games are even hard to do in the NFL. It's the NFL at the end of the day. It's one of the hardest leagues to win because it's a full team sport. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really good year for the Arizona Cardinals. Did we get breaking news? Did we get breaking news on live stream? Did we? Yeah, buddy. Sound the bell. Sound the bell. Breaking news in the world of the Arizona Cardinals. What we talked about yesterday. And shout out to my guy, John Gambadoro. Everybody gives my guy John Gambadoro. He's the best to do it. I don't care what anybody. He's the best to do it, ladies and gentlemen. He said that there should be a deal being in place soon. That's what John Gambadoro ended up saying. And here we go. Jordan Schultz has just confirmed that the Arizona Cardinals are bringing back Will Hernandez on a 1-year deal. We're bringing back the big man. Fire emoji it up in the comments below. Let's go. Will Hernandez is officially signed back with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go. Let's go. Man, what a day to be alive. Add some more depth to the offensive line, shall we? Let's freaking go. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. What a massive, great acquisition here for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go. Breaking news coming out of the world of the Arizona Cardinals. Jordan Schultz just reports that Will Hernandez is signing a 1-year deal with the Cardinals. Gotta love it. You love to see it. You love to see it. And shout out to my guy, John Gambadoro, yesterday ended up saying that that deal was going to get done soon. Who would have known soon meant about 24 hours later, but still, soon is soon. Soon is soon. We'll take it. We'll take it. Let's go. Bang, bang. Let's go. Mijo is back. Absolutely. The Cardinals just signed Will Hernandez. Yep. Let's go. We got some fire emoji. We got people really excited. Let's go. So my guy in the chat, JK, earlier said, I'm excited about this, he said. I'm excited about this. Well, be more excited. We brought Mijo back. Love to see it. Love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Great news all around. Jordan Schultz reports. 1-year deal. We don't know what the numbers look like in terms of what this year can look like, but we said this before, right? We made a short about this yesterday. Some people were a little, I guess, hesitant to believe it until obviously big time national media guys end up coming out and confirming it. But I think it's going to be a depth piece. If I'm going to be real, I think he's going to be a depth piece. I don't think we're going to lean on him to be a starting right guard. I don't think we are. I don't think we're going to lean on him to be a starting right guard for the Cardinals. I think it's going to be Isaiah Adams' job to lose. I think why am I saying Isaiah Jobs? Good God. Isaiah Adams' job to lose. I think it's Isaiah Adams' job to lose. He's done a fantastic job in this year's training camp. And I was probably one of the very first to say that this was the guy that was probably taking the place of Will Hernandez, right? People wanted him back. I wanted him back too. But if you're looking for the future, Isaiah Adams is who you're going to have to lean on. And Isaiah Adams has looked pretty solid. He's looked pretty solid in training camp. So there you go. Officially official. Will Hernandez is now back with the Cardinals. Great depth piece, man. Great depth piece. Absolutely. Let's keep it with the chat. X in the chat says Nakazir is gone. He played his role last year. Yeah, I do think Kazir's gone as well, if I could be real. I mean, he's still available. Last we heard is he worked out with the Lions, but other than that, that's all we heard. What's up, my guy? Let's go. AZ is going to be a sleeper. We already got disrespected and forgotten. That's okay, because now we can focus on football. No more distractions / excuses. Love it. Love to see it. I knew my big bro will be coming home. Yep. Will Hernandez is back, ladies and gentlemen. Will Hernandez is back. Let's go. Good move. All right. We are hitting the hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. Every single person here in the chat, if you guys do not know, training camp is officially over. Preseason is now the next thing up. After preseason, we got ourselves some regular season football, which is like a month away. We're about a month away from kickoff. Cardinals versus Saints, which we're going to absolutely destroy them. I could feel it now, but I'm just saying. We're so close, bro. We're so close to playoff football. Regular season. I'm done. I can't speak anymore. The hour mark has hit, and my mind has been shut off. All right. No worries, ladies and gentlemen. We're closing up shop right here. All right. You guys are all absolutely amazing. We're going to be closing up shop right here. Another shout out to my guys, the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, My Valley Prints. Check them out if you're looking for any hats, shirts, anything you can think of to make, customize. Check out My Valley Prints. My Valley Prints. Check them out on Instagram as well as on their email, myvalleyprints@yahoo.com. We'll be closing up shop right here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for being here. Absolutely. All right, we got my guy X over here already trying to cook me. All right, we're done. All right, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. We'll be closing up shop right here. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cardinals.